Night in the Australian bush does not merely dim the landscape, it reorganizes it. Color drains first, then contrast, and finally certainty. What remains are gradients of shadow layered across trunks, logs, and low branches, each capable of concealing something that does not wish to be noticed. The carpet python belongs to this hour not because it is invisible, but because it does not need to be seen to succeed. Its strategy is subtraction. It does not announce its presence with pursuit or noise. Instead, it waits at the exact point where another animal's movement becomes predictable, and when the strike comes, what disappears is not the predator, but the prey's freedom to move. As daylight fades, ectothermic physiology dictates timing. The python has spent the late afternoon absorbing residual warmth from a rock slab or sunlit branch, elevating its body temperature enough to fuel a rapid neuromuscular response. Snakes cannot afford wasted motion. Every contraction is metabolically expensive. Night offers two advantages. First, visual detection by prey decreases. Many small mammals and birds rely heavily on sight to identify threats, and in low light, their ability to distinguish pattern from background diminishes. Second, prey movement becomes structured. Rodents emerge from burrows along habitual routes. Possums descend predictable tree trunks. Small wallabies navigate the same narrow clearings between shrubs. Darkness simplifies decision-making for prey, and in doing so, it simplifies interception for the python. The carpet python's body is a study in controlled elasticity. Muscles run in overlapping bands along the spine, capable of both sustained gripping and explosive acceleration. Heat-sensitive pits along the upper and lower lips detect infrared radiation, translating body warmth into a thermal silhouette even when outlines blur in shadow. A mouse moving through leaf litter is not merely heard. It is sensed as a warm pulse against cooler ground. The snake's tongue flicks intermittently, sampling airborne particles and delivering chemical information to the vomeronasal organ. Together, these systems allow the python to construct a three-dimensional awareness of its surroundings without reliance on light. It does not need to see a prey animal clearly, it needs to know where it will be. Ambush placement is rarely random. In forested habitats, the python often selects branches overhanging animal trails, draping part of its body along the limb while allowing a section to hang in loose suspension. The patterning, irregular bands of brown, black and cream, mimics bark fissures and shadow breaks. On the ground, it aligns itself parallel to fallen logs or along the edge of a path where vegetation funnels movement. These edges matter. Ecotones, transitional spaces between dense cover and open ground, concentrate traffic. Animals hesitate briefly at these boundaries to assess risk, and that hesitation is sufficient. The snake's posture before a strike is subtle but precise. The anterior third of the body forms a loose S-curve, storing elastic potential energy. The head remains still, aligned with the projected path of prey. Contrary to common misconception, pythons do not calculate distance in a conscious sense, yet their neuromuscular coordination is refined by repeated success and failure. When prey crosses within range, the strike unfolds in a fraction of a second. The jaws open widely, supported by flexible ligaments that allow expansion beyond the width of the skull. Backward curving teeth secure purchase instantly. The impact is not designed to crush, but to anchor. What follows is often misunderstood. For decades, constriction was believed to cause death by suffocation, but research has revealed a more complex mechanism. The coils tighten rapidly around the prey's thorax, applying pressure that restricts both breathing and blood circulation. Venous return to the heart is impeded. Arterial flow is compromised. Within seconds, blood pressure destabilizes and cardiac function fails. The cessation of movement is not gradual suffocation, but rapid circulatory collapse. The python adjusts coil placement dynamically, responding to subtle shifts in prey resistance. Each exhalation by the prey allows the snake to tighten incrementally, preventing re-expansion of the ribcage. The process is efficient and remarkably quiet. Night enhances this efficiency because panic sounds travel differently in cooler, denser air. While a brief rustle may alert nearby animals, the event is typically over before meaningful alarm spreads. The python does not chase fleeing animals across open ground. It waits for one to pass within a carefully chosen corridor. In doing so, it conserves energy and reduces exposure to its own predators, such as large raptors or dingoes. Patience is not passivity. It is energy management shaped by evolutionary pressure. The mistake often belongs to the moving body rather than the waiting one. Stepping beneath low branches without scanning their underside, walking close along log lines that mimic the snake's resting form, failing to differentiate a shadow that remains too symmetrical. These are errors of assumption. The bush at night rewards those who interpret negative space as actively as they do illuminated ground. A carpet python does not stand out against bark. It merges with it, relying on pattern disruption that confuses outline detection. Human perception, evolved for daylight primate life, is easily deceived by static forms in dim light. Thermoregulation continues to influence behavior even after prey capture. Once the animal is subdued and swallowed, an act requiring gradual advancement of the jaws over the prey's body through alternating movements, the python seeks a site where ambient temperature supports digestion. Digestive metabolism in snakes increases dramatically after feeding, generating internal heat that can elevate body temperature above the environment. Selecting a sheltered, thermally stable refuge ensures that enzymatic processes proceed efficiently. In cooler weather, this may involve basking briefly in morning sun. In warmer climates, retreating into hollow logs where temperature fluctuation is minimal. Carpet pythons display notable ecological flexibility. They inhabit rainforests, woodlands, rocky escarpments, and even suburban fringes where artificial structures provide substitute branches and ledges. In human-modified landscapes, they often control rodent populations, acting as inadvertent allies in ecological balance. Yet, adaptability does not diminish their reliance on ambush. Whether in a remote forest or beneath a corrugated shed roof, the strategy remains the same. Position along a route of certainty and allow prey behavior to complete the equation. Juvenile pythons exhibit slightly different micro-habitat preferences, often occupying higher branches where smaller prey species dominate. As they grow, their dietary range expands to include larger mammals and birds. This ontogenetic shift reflects both physical capacity and ecological opportunity. A mature individual, thick-bodied and powerful, may take prey nearly as wide as its own girth. The mechanical design of the skull, multiple mobile bones connected by elastic ligaments, permits extraordinary expansion without structural compromise. Each successful feeding reinforces neural pathways that refine strike timing and coil efficiency. The bush remains quiet, not because nothing is happening, but because what happens is resolved quickly and without spectacle. A possum descending a tree trunk may pause momentarily at a fork, unaware that a patterned shape above is aligned precisely with its path. The strike interrupts gravity. Movement ceases in the span of heartbeats. Leaves settle. Air cools further. The predator remains draped in the same place, its outline once again indistinguishable from branch and shadow. To say that pythons do not chase is not to diminish their capability. It is to recognize a deeper evolutionary truth. Pursuit requires exposure and risk. Waiting, when informed by environmental literacy and sensory precision, shifts risk onto the moving party. The carpet python embodies this principle. It reads the architecture of the bush, branches that create tunnels, logs that guide small feet, edges where cover thins, and positions itself at the intersection of intention and inevitability. For those who walk these environments at night, awareness must extend beyond ground level. Dark shapes deserve scrutiny. Overhanging limbs should be examined as carefully as the path ahead. The absence of sound does not imply absence of intent. Somewhere above or beside the trail, a body lies coiled not in aggression but in readiness, its heat-sensing pits mapping the invisible signatures of life that pass within reach. When the moment arrives, it does not announce itself with pursuit. It removes motion from the equation and returns the forest to stillness, leaving only the faint impression that something moved, and then did not. The last hour of night in the Australian bush is not quiet, it is suspended. Nocturnal movement still threads through the undergrowth, small mammals returning to burrows, reptiles easing toward residual warmth, insects clinging to stems after a night of foraging. But the air has shifted. The temperature gradient that favored darkness begins to flatten, and the horizon dilutes from black to charcoal. In this transitional interval, before direct sunlight touches the canopy, a sound erupts that seems almost misplaced. It rises in layered crescendos, rippling from tree line to tree line, ricocheting across paddocks and forest margins. To the uninitiated, it resembles laughter, wild, cascading, exuberant. In ecological terms, it is not humor. It is a territorial broadcast that marks the end of one regime and the immediate imposition of another. The laughing kookaburra announces ownership at first light because dawn is an inflection point. Night predators retreat, diurnal hunters prepare, and prey species adjust their timing in an attempt to avoid both. The kookaburra's call functions as acoustic fencing. Family groups, often composed of a breeding pair and several retained offspring from previous seasons, coordinate their vocalizations in chorused displays. The overlapping calls amplify territorial presence, projecting strength to neighboring groups. Dominance is declared not through physical confrontation, but through sound that travels efficiently in cool morning air. The physics of dawn favor such broadcasts. Temperature inversions near the ground allow calls to carry farther than they would at midday. As the laughter subsides into isolated notes, the bird's posture changes from proclamation to calculation. Perched on a branch overlooking open ground or along the edge of woodland, the kookaburra becomes still. Its body is robust, head disproportionately large relative to torso, and bill thick and dagger-like. This morphology reveals its strategy. Unlike raptors that soar and scan vast territories, the kookaburra specializes in sit-and-wait predation. Its vision is acute, adapted for detecting movement against textured backgrounds. Subtle tremors in grass or the faint ripple of a lizard's flank as it basks are enough to trigger attention. Dawn favors this approach because prey at this hour is physiologically vulnerable. Reptiles, being ectothermic, require external heat to elevate metabolic rates. A skink emerging from night refuge at first light moves more slowly until sun-warmed. Insects, chilled by nocturnal cooling, cling sluggishly to stems and bark. Small mammals that misjudge the timing of their return to shelter may still be exposed when illumination sharpens their outlines. The kookaburra's territory proclamation ensures that potential competitors are aware of its claim, but the true advantage lies in patience during this thermal lag. When movement registers within range, the descent is direct and controlled. Wings open briefly, then fold as gravity accelerates the drop. The impact is decisive. For small reptiles and insects, the bill clamps with force sufficient to immobilize instantly. For slightly larger prey, juvenile snakes or robust skinks, the bird employs a technique refined through generations, the drop and smash. With prey secured crosswise in its bill, the kookaburra returns to a perch and delivers repeated blows against a branch. Each strike is calibrated to disrupt the nervous system and fracture bones without relinquishing grip. This method, though visually abrupt, reflects anatomical adaptation. The skull is reinforced and neck muscles absorb recoil efficiently. The bill's structure distributes force across its length, minimizing self-injury while maximizing lethality. The timing of these hunts underscores a broader ecological principle. Transition moments concentrate risk. As darkness yields to light, animals that attempt to exploit the overlap, those that move too early in search of warmth or forage, expose themselves to predators attuned to this window. The mistake is not movement itself, but miscalculated timing. A gecko lingering on open bark just minutes beyond safe shadow becomes conspicuous under dawn's contrast. A rodent venturing for an additional mouthful of seed before retreat may cross a patch of bare ground precisely when a kookaburra's gaze is fixed. The bird's sensory apparatus supports this efficiency. Eyes positioned forward provide binocular vision, essential for judging distance during a plunge. Rapid head movements allow scanning without shifting the body, reducing detection by prey. Unlike nocturnal predators relying heavily on scent or sound, the kookaburra operates in increasing light, capitalizing on visual acuity sharpened by contrast. The stillness of early morning air reduces background noise, allowing subtle rustles to complement visual cues. This integration of senses during a narrow temporal window illustrates how species partition the day to reduce overlap and maximize opportunity. Territorial laughter at dawn also reinforces social cohesion within family groups. Cooperative breeding in kookaburras involves retained offspring assisting in feeding nestlings and defending territory. Vocal displays synchronize these units, reaffirming boundaries that reduce physical conflict. In ecological terms, stable territories ensure consistent access to hunting perches and prey-rich edges. Forest margins, fence lines, and cleared paddocks become structured landscapes where vantage points dictate success. Human-modified environments have inadvertently expanded some of these perching opportunities, allowing kookaburras to thrive in suburban settings where lawns and gardens attract insects and small reptiles. The interplay between predator and prey at dawn reflects evolutionary dialogue. Prey species adjust behavior seasonally, altering emergence times in response to predator density. Some reptiles delay basking until full sunlight reduces aerial predator advantage. Others seek micro-habitats with partial cover to warm gradually without full exposure. Yet no strategy is foolproof. The first light is unforgiving. It reveals outlines with clarity while prey remain physiologically constrained by cold. Thermoregulation again shapes the narrative. As sunlight strengthens, reptiles gain speed and reflex capacity. The advantage shifts subtly away from the kookaburra's early dominance. By mid-morning, agile lizards can outmaneuver a descending bird, and insects achieve flight before impact. Thus, the dawn window is brief but critical. The bird's laughter signals not only territorial claim, but readiness to exploit that fleeting imbalance. There is restrained irony in the human perception of the kookaburra's call as comic relief. The cascading notes often accompany sunrise in cultural imagination, symbolizing cheerful beginnings. In ecological context, they mark the start of predation for the day. The bush does not sentimentalize transitions. Each shift in light rearranges risk. The laugh is declaration, not amusement. Observing a dawn hunt reveals choreography shaped by light gradients. Shadows shorten, dew refracts early beams, and prey silhouettes sharpen against pale ground. A kookaburra tilts its head fractionally, aligning gaze with movement. Muscles tense along wings and legs, storing kinetic potential. The drop is silent until contact. A brief flutter of leaves, then stillness. The prey's mistake has been punished not by pursuit, but by timing misjudged by minutes. As morning progresses and thermals rise, the bird's hunting intensity declines. It may retreat to shaded perches, digesting its meal while surveying territory. The initial violence of dawn gives way to measured vigilance. Yet the pattern repeats daily, embedded in circadian rhythms and ecological necessity. The broader lesson embedded within this moment is one of transition awareness. Ecosystems pivot on thresholds, night to day, cool to warm, silence to proclamation. Species that synchronize behavior precisely with these pivots gain advantage. The kookaburra exemplifies this alignment. Its laughter heralds a shift in dominance from nocturnal hunters to diurnal sentinels. Prey that fails to recalibrate with equal precision becomes fuel for that new order. In the expanding light, the bush appears tranquil. Birds adjust positions, insects warm into motion, reptiles claim sunlit stones. The intensity of the dawn strike fades into ordinary activity. Yet the memory of that early plunge lingers as evidence that the most consequential moments often occur in transition. The kookaburra, perched and composed, embodies that principle. Its laughter dissolves into the broader chorus of day, but the message remains implicit in every controlled descent and decisive impact. The night may end gradually, but the killing at first light is immediate, and timing, not bravado, determines who remains visible when the sun clears the horizon. Night in the Australian bush rarely settles into silence. Instead, it layers itself with sound, and among the most persistent contributors to that acoustic fabric are tree frogs. From the margins of farm dams to floodplain forests and suburban water tanks, their calls pulse through humid air with mechanical regularity, as if the landscape itself were breathing in syllables. Each note carries more information than casual listeners suspect. A chorus of tree frogs is not merely background ambience, it is a broadcast of environmental stability. When that broadcast falters or collapses without obvious cause, the shift deserves attention. Tree frogs call primarily for reproduction, but reproduction in amphibians is inseparable from environmental constraint. Their permeable skin, essential for gas exchange and hydration, makes them extraordinarily sensitive to changes in humidity, temperature, and atmospheric pressure. A male frog inflates his vocal sac only when conditions align with survival probability. The call is energetically expensive, exposing the animal to predators and dehydration. To vocalize at full volume signals confidence that moisture levels are sufficient to prevent rapid water loss, and that temperature falls within a narrow physiological window, allowing muscular contraction and nerve transmission to function efficiently. When the chorus swells after rainfall or on warm, damp nights, it reflects not impulsive enthusiasm, but a calculated response to environmental opportunity. The mechanics of the call reveal evolutionary precision. Air is drawn into the lungs and then forced across the larynx into an expandable vocal sac, which acts as a resonating chamber. The sac's translucent membrane stretches and recoils, amplifying sound far beyond what the frog's body size would suggest possible. In species such as the green tree frog, the call carries a deep, rolling timbre that can travel across water surfaces and through low vegetation. Acoustic energy moves efficiently in humid air, and males exploit this physics to advertise territory and readiness. Females assess call quality, frequency, duration, consistency as indicators of male fitness. A robust, sustained call suggests a well-hydrated, metabolically sound individual capable of contributing viable genes. Yet the chorus is more than a mating ritual. It is an ecological barometer. Frogs occupy a middle position in food webs, both predator and prey. They consume insects in significant numbers, regulating populations of mosquitoes and other invertebrates, while serving as food for snakes, birds, mammals, and larger reptiles. Their calls therefore signal not only their own safety, but the relative absence of immediate predator threat. In a stable environment, dozens of males may call simultaneously, overlapping rhythms into a textured acoustic field. The effect is immersive and, to the practiced ear, reassuring. When a threat enters that field, the collapse can be abrupt. Consider a snake navigating toward a water source under cover of darkness. Tree frogs possess acute vibration sensitivity through both auditory structures and substrate perception. The faint rustle of scales against leaf litter, the displacement of air as a body moves along a branch. These cues may register before visual confirmation occurs. Calls that moments earlier overlapped confidently may stagger, then cease in patches, creating gaps in the acoustic tapestry. Silence spreads outward in concentric layers as individuals respond to localized disturbance. To an attentive observer, this ripple of quiet is directional, pointing toward the source of disruption. Weather exerts similar influence. A sudden drop in barometric pressure often precedes storms. Amphibians detect these changes, though the precise sensory mechanisms remain under investigation. Some evidence suggests that shifts in pressure and humidity alter the permeability of skin and the function of mechanoreceptors, prompting behavioral adjustments. As storm fronts approach, insects modify flight patterns, wind velocity changes, and ambient temperature fluctuates. Frogs, exquisitely tuned to moisture balance, may reduce calling in anticipation of environmental instability. The chorus diminishes not because danger is visible, but because the ecosystem's physical parameters have shifted. Reading these changes requires reframing sound as data. In a thriving wetland, consistent frog calls indicate adequate water levels, stable temperature gradients, and manageable predator pressure. If the calls thin gradually through the night, it may reflect natural cooling as temperatures fall below optimal calling range. If they stop suddenly in a localized zone, predator presence becomes a plausible cause. If silence spreads across the entire chorus without immediate visual trigger, atmospheric disturbance may be underway. The bush communicates through absence as clearly as through presence. Tree frogs themselves embody delicate physiological trade-offs. Their skin secretes mucus that maintains hydration and, in some species, antimicrobial peptides that inhibit pathogens. This defense is critical in landscapes where fungal diseases such as chytridiomycosis have devastated amphibian populations. Calling behavior intersects with immune health. Only individuals in adequate condition can sustain prolonged vocal effort without compromising hydration or exposing themselves to infection. Thus, a strong chorus may indirectly signal population resilience. Predator-prey dynamics unfold quietly within this acoustic context. Nocturnal snakes, including pythons and tree-dwelling species, rely on frog congregations as reliable food sources. Birds, such as night herons, exploit shoreline gatherings. Even mammals may forage opportunistically. Frogs counter these pressures through camouflage, rapid escape leaps, and in some species, skin toxins that deter consumption. Yet during peak calling, males accept elevated risk because reproductive success outweighs individual safety. The balance is delicate. Too much predator pressure and calling becomes sporadic. Too little caution and predation intensifies. There is a subtle irony in the fact that the loudest nights often feel safest. Human perception equates noise with activity and life. In ecological terms, that intuition holds. A sustained frog chorus suggests functional trophic relationships and stable microclimate conditions. The mistake lies in ignoring its disappearance. Walk through bushland after rain, and the rhythmic calls create a sense of constancy. If, without obvious reason, that rhythm halts mid-step, the silence can be disorienting. It is not merely an auditory gap, it is a signal that variables have shifted. Consider the experience of standing near a farm dam at midnight. Moisture clings to grasses, and the air feels heavy with evaporation. Frogs cling to reed stems and low branches, throats inflating in luminous pulses. The sound merges into a continuous vibration felt almost as much as heard. Suddenly, a shadow glides across the water's surface, a predator's silhouette, or a gust preceding a storm. Calls stutter and vanish, leaving only the faint rustle of wind. The transformation is immediate and instructive. The ecosystem has recalibrated. Beyond signaling immediate threats, frog choruses contribute to long-term ecological monitoring. Scientists use acoustic recorders to measure population density, species diversity, and breeding success. Changes in call frequency over seasons can indicate habitat degradation, water contamination, or climate shifts. Amphibians respond quickly to environmental stresses due to their permeable skin and biphasic life cycle. As tadpoles in water and adults on land, they integrate signals from multiple habitats. A decline in calling intensity may precede visible ecosystem damage, making frogs early warning indicators in conservation science. Understanding this intelligence requires attentiveness. The bush does not issue alarms in the language of sirens or flashing lights. It modulates rhythm. When frog calls sustain, conditions align with life proceeding as expected. When they falter abruptly, something has interrupted the equilibrium. Interpreting that interruption demands context, time of night, weather pattern, known predator presence. Over time, patterns emerge. Experienced field biologists often describe developing an ear for these shifts, distinguishing routine lulls from meaningful silence. The lesson extends beyond amphibians. Ecosystems communicate continuously, but signals are subtle and layered. Frogs occupy a particularly audible channel within that system. Their calls are the pulse of wetlands and forest edges, a metronome for nocturnal stability. Ignoring sudden quiet is equivalent to disregarding a monitor that has stopped displaying data. The absence itself is information. As dawn approaches and light seeps into the understory, calls diminish naturally. Temperature rises beyond optimal nocturnal ranges. Diurnal predators stir, and males retreat to shaded refuges to conserve moisture. This gradual fade differs fundamentally from abrupt collapse. One is cyclical and predictable. The other is reactive and revealing. Distinguishing between them is part of learning to read the landscape as a living instrument. In the humid darkness of a summer night, the chorus resumes when conditions allow. The vocal sacs inflate, the air vibrates, and the ecosystem's status report continues. Within those pulses lies a sophisticated interplay of physiology, climate, predation, and reproductive drive. The green tree frog, perched inconspicuously on a branch, becomes more than an amphibian. It becomes a node in a network of information, broadcasting stability through sound and alerting attentive listeners when stability fractures. In the bush, silence is rarely empty. When the frogs stop calling, it is not an absence of life, but a recalculation, and those who learn to recognize that recalculation gain insight into the invisible forces reshaping the night. The desert after sunset is not empty. It simply changes ownership. Heat drains from the ironstone ridges and shale outcrops in slow waves, and the air above them settles into thin, shifting layers where warmth lingers for a final hour before surrendering to the cold. In that narrowing thermal margin, the perentie moves. At over 2 meters in length and built like articulated cable and bone, it does not wander randomly across the landscape. It positions. Long before true darkness falls, it selects height and angle, rock shelves that have stored the day's solar energy, fractured ledges that allow a rapid descent, crevices that break the wind and preserve a pocket of residual warmth. From a distance it appears still, but the stillness is calculated. The body lies parallel to the stone, maximizing surface contact to draw in the last available heat. Thermoregulation here is not passive, it is strategy. Unlike mammals, the perentie cannot generate internal warmth to fuel a sudden sprint. It must harvest it, manage it, and deploy it precisely when needed. The head lifts slightly, eyes open but unblinking in the low light. Monitor lizards possess a visual acuity that rivals many birds. Their forward-angled eyes allow depth perception crucial for judging distance across broken terrain. Yet sight is only part of the equation. The tongue flicks out, rapid, forked, deliberate. Each flick gathers microscopic chemical particles from the air and rock surface, transferring them to the Jacobson's organ in the roof of the mouth. This is scent translated into spatial awareness. A trail left by a small mammal minutes earlier does not fade into abstraction. It resolves into direction, size, stress level. The perentie does not need to see its prey to know it has hesitated somewhere beyond the next boulder. Night positioning is less about concealment and more about advantage. The lizard favors transitional zones, the edges where sand meets stone, where a cooling slab borders still warm ground. These are thermal edges, invisible boundaries where prey animals pause to adjust. A small marsupial emerging from its burrow may step onto warm rock to retain body heat. A gecko hunting insects may linger along a heat-retaining wall. Eggs buried in sandy soil near rock faces benefit from stable incubation temperatures. The perentie learns these microclimates not through abstract reasoning, but through repetition and survival. Over years, it maps the desert's thermal geometry in its nervous system. It knows which ledges cool first, which crevices hold warmth longest, which rock faces collect moonlight and radiate faint heat well into darkness. When it hunts, the first movement is almost imperceptible. Muscles along the torso tighten in sequence, tail lifting slightly from the ground. The tail is not ornamental. It is counterbalance and weapon, a muscular rod capable of delivering force or stabilizing a rapid turn. The forelimbs, tipped with long recurved claws, grip stone with a mechanic's precision. Each step is silent because each step is chosen. The explosive burst that follows is brief but decisive. Monitor lizards are built for short acceleration rather than endurance chases. Their limb posture, more elevated than many reptiles, allows longer stride length and efficient forward propulsion. When the perentie commits, it does so with stored heat converted instantly into kinetic release. The desert prey community has evolved under this pressure for millions of years. Ground-nesting birds rely on camouflage and vigilance. Small reptiles depend on erratic movement. Mammals trust burrow depth and speed. The perentie counters each strategy not with overwhelming speed, but with relentless pressure. It does not give up easily. If a skink darts under a rock slab, the lizard does not abandon the attempt. It circles, probes with claws, wedges its snout into cracks, excavates. The jaws, lined with recurved teeth and supported by powerful neck muscles, are designed not for delicate capture, but for gripping and tearing. Unlike snakes, which swallow whole, the perentie often shakes prey violently, using inertia to subdue and disorient. The bite carries bacteria typical of scavenging reptiles, and while not specialized venom in the dramatic sense, monitor saliva contains anticoagulant properties that can exacerbate bleeding in prey. In evolutionary terms, even a partial grip can tilt the odds over time. Eggs are among the most energetically efficient targets. A clutch hidden beneath sand represents concentrated protein and fat, defenseless once discovered. The perentie's sense of smell allows it to detect subtle chemical signatures leaking from buried nests. It will dig with rhythmic efficiency, alternating forelimbs, sand spraying backward in steady arcs. The desert often reveals what it hides reluctantly, but patience and muscle usually win. Smaller reptiles are taken in similar fashion. Anything that hesitates, anything that believes immobility equals invisibility. The lizard does not anthropomorphize stillness as safety. It interprets it as opportunity. For mammals, the calculation is more complex. A small rodent sprinting between shrubs may outpace the perentie in a straight line, but few sprints remain straight in broken country. The lizard's long body flows around obstacles with surprising agility. Its claws grip loose rock, and its tail acts as a pivot in tight turns. Should prey reach a burrow entrance, the perentie may attempt excavation, widening the opening with persistent digging. It has been documented raiding burrows of rabbits and other introduced species, exploiting human-altered ecosystems as readily as ancient ones. This adaptability underscores its ecological role not merely as predator, but as regulator, controlling populations of both native and invasive animals. The mistake theme, "It's just a lizard," is less about fear and more about miscalculation. Humans encountering a perentie in daylight often underestimate it, assuming reptilian sluggishness. At night, that assumption becomes more dangerous because perception falters. The lizard's confidence is not aggression for its own sake. It is the assurance of an apex reptilian predator accustomed to few threats once fully grown. It will avoid confrontation with large mammals, including humans, but if cornered or mishandled, it can defend itself with claws capable of deep lacerations and a tail whip that carries significant force. Respecting distance is not superstition, it is acknowledgement of biomechanics. In the broader ecological framework, the perentie occupies a niche shaped by aridity and unpredictability. Australia's deserts do not offer consistent abundance. Rainfall is episodic. Prey populations fluctuate dramatically, and temperatures swing from scorching day to frigid night. The lizard's physiology reflects this volatility. It can endure long periods without food, slowing metabolic demand, yet when conditions favor hunting, it exploits them fully. Growth rates are tied to resource pulses. In good years, juveniles may grow rapidly. In lean years, they survive on efficiency. Longevity provides stability in such an environment. A mature perentie carries decades of environmental memory in its behavior. As darkness deepens, the rock ledge that served as thermal battery cools beyond usefulness. The perentie descends, muscles now warm enough for decisive action, but not wasteful movement. The tongue flicks again, mapping scent trails that cross and diverge like invisible rivers. Somewhere beyond the ridge, a small mammal pauses too long between cover. Somewhere beneath sand, a clutch incubates without awareness of chemical signatures escaping into the air. The lizard advances not with haste, but with inevitability. Claws grip stone with audible precision. The tongue flickers in the beam of moonlight, fork tips tasting molecules left by breath and fur. The tail coils slightly, tension stored along its length like a drawn bow. Every aspect of this posture reveals evolutionary refinement, a body tuned for brief violence, a sensory system built for chemical literacy, a metabolism disciplined by climate extremes. The desert at night rewards those who understand edges, thermal edges, behavioral edges, the thin boundary between caution and complacency. The perentie thrives at those boundaries. To dismiss it as merely a large lizard is to misunderstand the architecture of survival in arid Australia. It is night muscle shaped by heat and scarcity, a predator whose confidence comes not from recklessness, but from precise alignment with its environment. In the cooling hours after sunset, when warmth withdraws and shadows thicken around the rocks, the perentie does not fade into obscurity. It becomes more defined, more efficient, more itself. The desert's silence is not absence of life. It is the pause before a calculated surge, claws anchoring against stone, tail poised, tongue sampling the dark for the slightest mistake. In the half-light of an Australian evening, when the last warmth drains from open ground and shadows gather under shrubs, the echidna appears almost misplaced in the landscape. Its rounded body, low gait, and narrow snout give it a softness that belies its lineage. It is one of the planet's few surviving monotremes, an egg-laying mammal whose evolutionary branch diverged from other mammals over 100 million years ago. Yet whatever ancient strangeness defines its ancestry is concealed beneath a coat of sharp keratin spines that transform the animal from endearing curiosity into something far more formidable when darkness complicates perception. The echidna does not stalk, chase, or confront. It moves deliberately, nose close to soil, guided by an acute sense of smell and electroreception that detect faint electrical signals produced by muscle contractions in invertebrates underground. Ants and termites are its primary diet, harvested with a long, sticky tongue capable of rapid extension and retraction. Powerful forelimbs equipped with enlarged claws excavate compacted earth with surprising efficiency. This digging strength is not merely for feeding. It is integral to defense. When threatened, the echidna deploys a strategy that has persisted since deep evolutionary time. The body compresses, limbs draw inward, the head tucks beneath the protective canopy of spines. Muscles beneath the skin contract, erecting the spines outward. The animal does not rely on speed or intimidation, but on geometry. By reducing exposed soft tissue and presenting an array of rigid points, it transforms itself into an unmanageable object. If soil is loose, it will dig downward rapidly, anchoring itself so that only the spines remain visible above ground. If rock or root systems prevent excavation, it wedges into crevices, using terrain as reinforcement. This posture is effective against natural predators. Dingoes, wedge-tailed eagles, and large reptiles have all been documented attempting to prey upon echidnas, yet success rates are limited by the animal's defensive morphology. A predator attempting to flip an echidna encounters both resistance and pain. The spines, though not venomous, penetrate skin readily. The echidna's muscular contraction allows it to brace against leverage, making extraction difficult. In evolutionary terms, this passive defense reduces energy expenditure compared to active combat. At night, however, the calculus shifts in subtle ways. Low visibility complicates depth perception for humans moving through bushland. A rounded silhouette on a track may be mistaken for debris or rock. Approaching too closely before recognition triggers the echidna's reflexive defense. The sudden contraction and outward flare of spines can startle even seasoned observers. Attempts to pick up or reposition the animal, often motivated by misguided assistance, such as moving it from a road, introduce risk not because the echidna attacks, but because it resists. Hands reaching beneath its body encounter rigid spines and muscular tension. The animal may roll slightly or dig, shifting weight unpredictably. In dim light, misjudging where the spines begin and the softer fur between them lies can result in puncture wounds. The echidna does not hunt humans. It does not pursue. It punishes proximity through indifference to intention. Its defense evolved for predators with claws and teeth, yet it proves equally effective against human curiosity. The urge to touch, a reflex rooted in affection or concern, collides with anatomy designed for deterrence. Understanding this response requires examining the echidna's physiology more deeply. Beneath the spines lies dense musculature arranged to facilitate rapid contraction. The panniculus carnosus, a sheet of muscle under the skin, allows the animal to stiffen its outer layer independently of skeletal movement. This muscular architecture supports the curling motion and spine erection. The spines themselves are modified hairs composed of keratin, hollow at the core for structural efficiency. Between them grows fur that provides insulation, critical for thermoregulation in climates ranging from alpine to arid. Unlike many mammals, the echidna maintains a relatively low and variable body temperature. This flexibility allows survival in diverse habitats, but requires behavioral compensation. During hot days, echidnas may remain inactive to avoid overheating, emerging in cooler hours to forage. Night activity increases in warmer seasons, placing the animal in closer temporal overlap with human recreation and vehicle traffic. The darkness that shields it from avian predators simultaneously obscures it from drivers and hikers. Terrain plays a crucial role in defense. An echidna encountering loose soil can bury itself with remarkable speed, forelimbs excavating while hind limbs push backward. Within minutes, it may appear as a mound of spines anchored flush with ground level. Attempting to lift such an animal becomes nearly impossible without significant force, which risks injury to both parties. In rocky landscapes, the echidna seeks fissures or root tangles where its spines lock against surfaces. The environment becomes an extension of its armor. Ecologically, the echidna's foraging contributes to soil aeration and nutrient cycling. By digging for ants and termites, it turns over soil layers, influencing microhabitat structure and seed dispersal. Its diet places it within a network of invertebrate regulation that shapes plant communities indirectly. Though often perceived as solitary and withdrawn, the echidna interacts constantly with its ecosystem through these subterranean activities. Human injury incidents involving echidnas typically arise from intervention. Attempting to rescue an animal perceived as stranded or to relocate it without protective equipment can result in spines embedding in palms or fingers. Removal is painful but rarely severe. Nonetheless, it reinforces a broader principle. Wildlife does not require tactile reassurance. Assistance, when necessary, demands knowledge and appropriate tools. Night amplifies misunderstanding. The beam of a flashlight may catch the reflective sheen of spines, but shadows distort the animal's outline. Approaching too quickly, assuming stillness implies passivity, leads to abrupt contact with a defensive response already underway. The echidna's hearing and vibration sensitivity detect approaching footsteps. Its reaction begins before human awareness registers proximity. By the time hands extend, the transformation into spike trap is complete. There is restrained irony in labeling such an animal cute tank. The rounded shape and deliberate shuffle invite underestimation. Yet the evolutionary story embedded within that form is one of persistence. Surviving alongside predators and environmental upheaval for millions of years required effective deterrence. The echidna's strategy is not dramatic, it is disciplined. Conserve energy, avoid confrontation, fortify against intrusion. In the cooling air of night, an echidna continues its quiet excavation, tongue flicking in and out of soil cavities rich with insect life. If undisturbed, it remains indifferent to nearby presence, focused on foraging. The problem arises only when distance collapses unnecessarily. The spines do not seek flesh. They simply occupy space with uncompromising rigidity. As dawn approaches and light clarifies shapes once more, the echidna may retreat to a burrow or dense cover, leaving behind subtle disturbances in soil. Its passage is rarely conspicuous. What lingers is a reminder that defense can be absolute without aggression. The bush does not operate on intent. It operates on contact and consequence. The echidna embodies this principle. It does not chase, threaten, or pursue. It exists within a defensive architecture that discourages interference. At night, when vision narrows and assumptions widen, that architecture becomes a lesson etched in keratin. The urge to touch, to lift, to help collides with evolutionary design, and the result is immediate education.